Good evening, everyone. This is Ceren İskit, and you are watching What's New, What's News. Apologies for the technical hiccup. Before we had some technical issues, but finally we sorted. And today we have a really important topic that we will discuss with my colleague, Hande Demirel. Let me invite her. Hi, Hande. Welcome back.
Hi,
We
Jen.
had we had a little bit nervous breakdown, but all is fine now.
Yeah, I hope everyone can see and hear us.
Yes, I think now we don't have any problems, and we can start with our topic today. As Turkey's economy is well, what you can say, what's going to happen to Turkey, we have no idea, especially with the inflation and everything. So we will discuss these bullet points actually, and you are of course a journalist and following closely Turkey's economic landscape, and we are wondering your insightful commentary, because you are a invaluable resource for understanding the complexities of our economy. So we will start for now. Okay, I would like to first start with the central bank governor, actually, with its constant change, because our treasury and finance minister, he has taken over Hafize Gaye Erkan, the former central bank governor, and now we have a new representative for central bank, Fatih Karahan. And how did the change of central bank president affected Turkish markets?
Well, thank you very much for your nice words for me. I've been working as an economy and finance journalist for ages. I don't want to say the years because of my age. But anyways, yes, I am following what's going on both in global markets and Turkish markets as well. And I am not only following the financial markets, I am also following the industry, the business side of it. So first of all, I have to say that last year in May, we had a very important election, as you know. And after President Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan's election victory in May, Turkey has got a new economic team, new governors. So this team started to put the house in order. Well, change was a bit stressful at the beginning, but when I tell you how the market is reacted, you will understand what's happening. First of all, I have to say that we are having the fifth governor in the last 6 years in CBRT. I don't know as if you know, but CBRT was founded in 1930, and until 2018 all the governors served for an average of 4 years. Afterwards, a governor served for an average of less than a year since 2018. So this is a bit weird. We don't see such a change in any other central banks all around the world. The shortest one was Naci Ağbal. Many of them who are following the markets know his name, and he only remained in the office for 4 months. And the second is Hafize Gaye Erkan, as you mentioned, the last governor. She remained in the office 9 months. Well, everything started actually with an interview. An interview with a famous journalist in Türkiye was the beginning of the end, let's say. It was read as a little bit tabloid interview because there were a lot of words such as I moved to my mother because life is too expensive. and serviceman Sadık so asked me about inflation. And whenever our president gives 3 areas, we can increase them. Normally, we are not used to, not only us, all around the world, nobody is used to these kind of words from a central bank governor. So this was odd. On the other hand, she went to United States and stayed there for a long time, long period
So
of
this
time. It
was
was very odd. So these things were already negative for the markets because CBRT has already a credibility problem. And now, after this interview, it also has the governance credibility problem. So no one was really sad or shocked after she left the job. Even after she left the job, many reports from both local and international banks, investment institutions, etc., they all released very positive notes for this change. Because the head of politics was currently Mr. Mehmet Şimşek, who is the Minister of Treasury and Finance. Everybody was trusted him. And the transition on the part of the central bank was quite successful and did not cause any volatility in the market. Mehmet Şimşek made a statement immediately after this change, and also a statement was published from the new central bank governor, Mr. Fatih Karahan. So everything went smoothly. There was no volatility in the markets. Everyone was positive, even more positive than before, because of the credibility issue. And on the other hand, there is no question mark about the new governor because he is completely qualified. He is familiar and knowledgeable about central banking. He has a New York Central Bank background, and he's been also the deputy governor of the central bank since July 2023. The change at CBRT's presidency happened just before the first inflation report of the year. This was also very important because new President Karahan and his team has proposed a very nice inflation report. That presentation was also appreciated, and some of the economists were saying that the communication poisoned by Hafize Gaye Erkan is pulled together pretty well by the new president and his team. Well, central banks in the world mainly have two purposes, Ceren. One is to ensure price stability, and the other is to protect the value of the country's currency. Mm-hmm. You ask me as if the central bank is successful on these. I would answer that today, central bank hasn't been able to achieve these two purposes yet. However, with the U-turn in policy after the elections, we have eliminated the risk of a balance of payments crisis, or mm-hmm. We have inflation now, but it's not hyperinflation, but it was about to be hyperinflation. After this policy change, we gladly stopped this and we corrected the error, let's say. Our CDS's default swaps was above 500. Now it has fallen below 300. But to be fully successfully, inflation must fall to single digits. This is also thought to be a long road, and some of the economists say that may take 6 or 7 years. Inflation is quite an important and difficult problem. Well, this year's target is 36%. The upper end, we have an upper end forecast, which is at 42%. If we reach this point, we can talk about success for this year. In the long term, actually, the government is pointing 2026, but as I mentioned before, economists are thinking that this will take more time, even 7 years or so. inflation, economists are expecting that inflation will reach a peak in May, which will be almost like 70-80% in Turkey, which is very, very high. I mean, if you look at the average for countries like us, like Turkey, it is there. The inflation rate is like 10%. In developed countries, the average is below 5%. So we are in a kind of period that we will be successful if we make it 40%.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, in order to reduce inflation, must continue. I am sure that you're going to ask what I am expecting for the future, but I have to say it first, because to reduce inflation, we need stability. We all hope that new governor will now be able to complete his term, because last 22 years time only 3 presidents have been able to complete their terms. The decline in inflation may begin in summer. This will be due to the base effect, because we're going to see such an effect, and we will see what will happen next. It's quite difficult and expensive, really expensive, to reduce the inflation, and not only increasing interest rates, we need to do more to have a single digit inflation, actually.
Well, we will follow it closely, because I mean this is all in matter with all people. I mean, um, all the salaries, all the market prices. I'm talking about like our basic lives, that when we go to a market, will we see maybe a decrease of prices with the basic needs or not. We will see. Everyone is discussing, even with the simit now is on the table, whether they will increase the price or not, especially in Istanbul. Ankara is coming up next, of course, every time. And yeah, this is the situation. We have a lot of to talk, so I want to continue my questions. Another one is very concerning for people in Turkey, because um, everyone's saying this is like a stability now that we see. It's like holding tight until the local elections, and everyone is saying that after local election everything will change, and probably prices will be up, interest rates will increase, etc. Are you expecting any policy change after the local elections then?
Actually, it is quite normal that everybody is thinking such way, because we experienced this many times before. Yes, we have forthcoming elections, and yes, and for sure, the real boss is Mr. Erdogan, and the most important thing for him is the election. There are those who say that he said yes to these orthodox policies with Mehmet Şimşek until he won the election, and that he will do what he wants after the elections. This is a kind of thinking that we see in many people's minds. But honestly, I don't agree with the ones who are saying or thinking this. I expect the current policy to continue. It should also be considered that this election is the local elections. Don't forget this. It is different than the last year's general elections. It was far much stressed than this one, and currently it is not as much as in previous elections, but we are still experiencing an election economy. That's what I also have to say. And the economy team is nowadays only trying to do something on the part of the central bank. Okay, but due to the elections, they cannot tighten fiscal policy. As I told you before, increasing inflation is not possible with only the money policies. Not only with the interest rates. You need to do more, and these things should come from the fiscal part. Okay. Actually, during this election economy period, we are financing many expenditures with taxes, and we're increasing the prices. So these also make the inflation higher. After getting through the election, I think that Mehmet Şimşek's hand will become stronger. The real tightening will be on the fiscal policy side after the election. Of course, on the other hand, we should think about the results of the election. That's also important. We cannot, behave like we don't have any elections. Even it is local elections, there are risks. For example, if AKP, Mr. Erdogan, cannot take Istanbul, maybe he will be looking some guilty. So will Mehmet Şimşek be found guilty? This is also a question mark. So we have to think about this as well, and many investors are also thinking about this, and everyone is actually expecting the end of local elections. Reducing the inflation is a difficult task, I have to say. We have to know this. It's not easy. The policies required to do this will cause growth to slow down, unemployment to increase, and of course the purchasing power decrease. And it has really serious costs. It is important to be patient. We need to wait, we need to be patient, and we need to see the end actually of these policies. Otherwise we go back to square one. So of course, business people will put some pressure to the government during this period. If the exchange rate remains controlled, there will be complaints about interest rates. Businesses will say that they cannot invest with such high interest rates. Also, they don't want to be patient because they're not interested in the public's opinions. They want to earn money, they want to make money, and of course they will put some pressure on the government, and this is also a risk. And here we will see whether we will be patient until the end or give up. I hope we can be patient. So actually, on the other hand, having the exchange rate around here is good for inflation, I have to say. If the exchange rate were free today and went to 40, for example, I mean dollar versus Turkish lira, it would be reflected in inflation by at least 3-4 points. So we are in a kind of spiral. The exit will be costly, and patience will be required, I have to say. And it would be great if it could happen with a soft landing. Everybody is working on it. I mean, growth will decrease, unemployment will increase. But for example, there will be a demand for another raise on salaries, maybe in the end of first half of the year. But I don't think Mehmet Şimşek will do this, because there won't be an election afterwards. If you do it anyway, I mentioned we're in a kind of spiral. So again, you go back to square one. So it's a very tough position that we are in, unfortunately.
Well, as far as I remember, I think they made a statement about it, and they said, Erdogan said there will be only one time they will increase the minimum wage, and till next year you have to, you have to, how do you say, you have to live on with it actually. So in a short way, of course. So, speaking about the Turkish lira and its constant melts, I would say. What's your take on Turkish lira then?
Well, everybody is thinking that after the election, we're going to see higher levels on the currency. Well, I don't agree that. Many of the economists that I, give attention to are also saying this because the conditions are different. But remember, after the 2023 presidential elections, the exchange rate exploded. Dollar and euro, both of them reached historical peaks against Turkish lira, and nobody forgets this. In the 2 months, only in 2 months after the election, Turkish lira lost 34% of its value against dollar. So people are again normally think of this once more if we can have such a depreciation. It is wondered whether there will be a sharp rise in dollar Turkish lira after the March 31st local elections. As I mentioned, economists, many of them think there is a low probability of a sharp rise in the dollar exchange rate after the local elections because neither the conditions of the past period approaching this election are the same as the last election, nor the increase in dollar.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will see because euros has already. It will reach soon to 40 Turkish lira. I guess I don't know. What oh no, I confused with sterling, but yeah, because we used to live in London. This is our, anyways. That's why my mind went to sterling, but it is. I think it has reached its highest currency as well. So we are very, very concerned about that. Hopefully, something will stabilize more. Coming to an end, I have a last question for you. What's going on in the global markets? How does it affect Turkey in terms of monetary and fiscal policies, you think?
Well, before this U-turn, let's say, again, having orthodox policies in economy and markets, we were quite far from what's happening in the global market. Of course, we were affected with from the wars and all these commercial things happening in between countries, the big ones, etc. But in terms of the markets, we were not interested that much because we were going with our own way, let's say. We tried something, but we didn't succeed. Again, now we are doing what everyone is doing. So, therefore, actually, this is one positive thing. On the other hand, I think in the second half of this year, there will be an important window of opportunity will open for Turkey, because developed central banks around the world, the United States, Britain, and Europe, all of them will start reducing interest rates. Interest cuts will increase liquidity. Okay, there will be money all around. Remember, during the pandemics, they gave a lot of money, there were a lot of liquidity. That's why now the developed countries, and also we are, facing with high inflation. And then they started to pull back the money from the markets and try to control the inflation and make everything work again on itself. And now they're at that point, and therefore they're going to increase the liquidity once again, not that much in the pandemic time, in a normal way. And this liquidity will definitely go to some countries who have good economic conditions, let's say. If we do our homework well here and give confidence to the international markets, the money may also come to our country too, because we've seen this before the crisis, before the pandemics. Remember 2008, and in between 2008 and 2013, we had a lot of money as Turkey from all around the world. So this may happen again, but we need to do our homework. We need to make the foreign investors confident about our economy. So this is a window of opportunity. On the other hand, in Europe, currently, most of the economies are not in a good position. Germany is in recession, as you know. France, Italy, they're all not doing well. But European economies, they're expecting European economies to recover also in the second half of the year as interest rates fall. So this is also very, very important for Turkish economy, because today we borrow the money, the 70% of the money from Europe, and Europe is buying half of the goods we produce. So Europe is our main trade partner. As soon as Europe recovers, it will have a positive impact on us. So, but still, there are questions, my dear friend. Of course, there are opportunities. Of course, we want to think positive. And what I believe, if we do what we need to do, Turkey has a great potential, not only as a strategical, geographical position in the world, but because of its people. You know, the younger population is quite high. We produce everything, and consumption is good, and etc. Everything goes in a good way, in a road, let's say. So Turkey can recover quickly and easily. We shouldn't forget this. But we still have questions. The first question is Mehmet Şimşek going to stay in his position? Will he continue his duty? Can he go? If he goes, what will happen? Obviously, again, we'll see an uncertainty, and the markets, economies do not like uncertainty in that manner. So these are still the questions in investors' mind. And Mr. Şimşek has a serious credibility abroad. We all know this. And for instance, after the election, as I told you, everybody is looking at what will happen, and they wait, let's say. And after the election, we'll see more clearly what we're going to see in the next part of the year. It is wondered whether fiscal policies will be added to the moves initiated by monetary policy after the election. And of course, the law issue is important. If we want investments, not in the short term, but also in the long term, judicial independence is very, very important. Direct investments have not been around for a very long time. There has been some real estate investments, and the hot money was coming, okay, but direct investments, we couldn't see these. We don't hear a big company came to Turkey, or factory, a global factory was established, or I don't know, any big brand or company coming and buying a Turkish company, or any partnerships. We don't hear these. We need to hear them, and to hear them, we need to do our homework very well. We need fiscal policies beside monetary policies. We need judicial independence. This is very, very important. Everybody is talking about that. This is not a joke. This is not only a saying, it is quite important. So we need to look very closely to the economy policies, especially after the elections. But what I believe, everything will be better in the second half. And if we behave in a good manner, let's say, just like the we'll see bright days at least at the end of this year.
Hopefully, hopefully. Is there anything else you would like to add before we come to an end?
Well, if you want to understand economy and markets, you should follow them. And following economy and markets is quite enjoying. I really like it, and everybody will like it. So I recently I am giving some education to people who want to know more about finance and economy, and whenever they hear how it is related with our daily lives, they got more interested. So I have to say this. And for the last word, I know you for a long time. We've been together in London quite a while ago, but since then I am watching you, and you're doing a wonderful job. I wish you a lot of success and good luck, and congratulations, my friend.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Hande. It was wonderful to have you. And you definitely draw the bigger picture for us, actually, because everyone is concerning about what's going to happen next, especially after the election. And I think now our audience will see what's going to happen next, and hopefully bright days are near, so we will all breathe again, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye bye. Yes, we started with a very bad luck at the beginning, and apologies for that, for the hiccup. But during the live, anything can happen, and you cannot predict for that. So I really sincerely apologize from you. We will be together on Thursday again with a new subject. Till then, I wish you a lovely evening and take care. Bye bye.